Hello everybody and welcome to another episode here of my tutorial series. As you can see, this is going to be about elephant luring. I've set up a little scenario for us to discuss some of the main topics and such. The main premise about ele luring is that when you do this, you're saving resources by bringing the elephant to a pre-built storage pit or town center, right? Like a major thing about this is getting it to your town center reduces the walk time, so you don't want to kill the elephant way out in the middle of nowhere and have your villagers waste a lot of time walking back and forth. Another thing is you don't want to have to waste wood on dropping a storage pit out here in the middle of nowhere, for example. That being said, there are a couple key things you need to keep in mind. One, once again, we covered this in the last video, but I saw some people were a little surprised by this. When you have all of your vills spread out like this and you're right-clicking around, you can group them simply by holding Alt and then right-clicking, and they'll go all together like this. This makes hunting a lot easier, and we'll talk about it more in terms of combat later, but for now, we're just going to be looking at its echo usages. So first, a single ele lure is pretty straightforward. You hit it once, you hit it twice, you back up, a couple steps, it's going to stop, you hit it again, and it's latched, right? So now this elephant is basically latched, unless there's some obstacle in the way or something that causes it to lose interest. It's going to follow you to the ends of the earth. If it hits you 3 times, you're dead, and you can see it's getting stuck on that corner here, so you just got to be careful about that. I select my other control group with the other elephants, and bang. I got an ele under my TC. You can renegotiate their positioning to make sure they have a nice walk. This can be accomplished by just navigating them around until it looks right and right-clicking, and that's going to give you a really nice food income here. Remember, hunting more is much quicker than gathering from berries or farms, so very valuable to do this early on if you can. That being said, just one more time to demonstrate. You hit it once, twice, back up, it's going to stop, hit it twice. Now it's latched. I hit it twice, and if you feel like you're outpacing it a bit, just turn around and right-click, and just get another hit on. The time that it takes, and it also helps to damage the elephant a bit, but the time that it'll take helps a lot. And there you go, there's your ele lure. This one's a little bit further away, but that's no problem. So that being said, we're going to talk about the double ele lure now, because that's probably a topic that you're probably really curious about learning how to do, because it is a technique that feels a bit daunting at first, but as soon as you understand the basic premise, it's really not that bad. So following the same steps as before, you basically just alternate those starting steps for both of them. So you're going to hit this elephant, I'm going to hit it twice, then hit this one twice, and then I'm going to back up. You can also get away with hitting it once, if you're feeling bold. And you'll see sometimes they do this glitching thing, but eventually they'll stop moving. And when they stop, they've stopped now. Jeez, that took a while. Usually it won't take that long. But now they've stopped, and you just go back, and you do it again. And here, the elephant that you hit first is the lead elephant. It's the one in the front. Think about it like a train. That's, if this is your main train, you got to be careful. So you got to keep track of which one was the first one. Hit the one in the back, then hit the one in the front, and there you go. You have an ele lure right there. It's a little confusing, and there they did a little switcheroo. So just keep in mind which one's in front. And the one in the front, if you kill that one first, the one in the back will lose the latch, as I like to call it. It'll lose the leash, and it'll go back to the starting position, or partially back, which is just bad no matter what. So a few of the nuances about eles. When they're under your TC, even if they're decaying, or I think even just the carcass that's decaying on the ground, like the model, I think it might do that as well. I'm not sure, but certainly a decaying elephant here, you'll notice we'll get him right. Yeah, you see, the gazelle won't even go close to this one, but I'm sure we can get a better example about how they are certainly very scared. So if you're trying to do an ele lure, and yeah, this guy just ran away. Oh, he's going to get scared of the ele there. And there you go. That's how, that's just gazelle scared of these eles, even when they're dead. They're scared of them when they're alive as well, and you can test that here. If I just give this guy a little push, he's going to go right next to this Ellie, and you'll see very shortly after, he's scared. So keep that in mind when you're doing your hunt. Elephants scare Gazelle, so this can change the order about how you do things. That's very map dependent, right? Like if you want to do your Gazelle first, you can, but Ellies tend to be better earlier. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a matter of preference there, but I mean, Gazelle or Ellie, however you do it, just keep that in mind. Then we'll move on to when you have a large obstacle in the way, you want to avoid contact with the elephant and the obstacle, right? So don't let them become adjacent. And the way you're going to do that, around like a curve like this, you just keep the villager like a couple tiles away. And the elephant will cut the corner between you and the Vil, or the Vil and the Ellie. And there you'll see it'll nicely avoid it. Just gotta get the 2 hits on. So you can see sometimes it's a bit stubborn. If you think it's stopping a bit, just keep turning around and giving it the extra little love tap. And there you see why you don't always want to be hitting the elephant. I lost track of that one, so my bad on that. Now, that's something to look out for. That is a pitfall. If you hit it too many times, it will certainly die on its way over. Got to be careful about that. That being said, we can look at 1-tile gaps. In single player, this tends not to be a huge issue, but in multiplayer, this is a massive issue. We'll see if it happens here, but Ellies can get stuck in 1-tile gaps there. Here, it didn't happen. The pathing is so good on single player that it wasn't an issue. But in multiplayer, lag with the server and everything starts to add up, and you can get stuck on those paths. One little note here is that Ellies do not cross with you. They do not cross straits. They do not go over shallow water. They are not like alligators. They are like lions who do not go over these shallows. And you can see it can do a whole bunch of stuff. Basically, just started an Ellie disco. And here he is dancing around. And he won't be able to do anything. Could start even dancing if you get him in a cool spot. There you go. Anyway, so that being said, I hope that answers a lot of your questions about Ellies. Oh, one last thing before I forget. If you have a civ like Yamato or Assyrian with that villager movement speed bonus, you're going to have to be careful about potentially outpacing the elephant. So just keep that in mind. Those 2 civs get movement speed, and you'll see, like, we walk generally, like, in tandem here. You'll see we're walking generally the same speed, right? So it's pretty easy for him to maintain contact in sight radius. If you are Assyrian or Yamato, it is a lot easier for the elephant to lose interest and lose the leash due to the movement speed. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to turn around a bit more, stop the Vil a bit more, take a more of a zigzaggy kind of path, something that adds a little bit of time to it, because the Assyrian villagers, again, and the Yamato villagers will outpace. So that being said, I hope that answers all your questions about Ellies. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get to them. You can lure more than 2 at a time. You can lure, theoretically, there's no limit, but like the practical maximum seems to be about 4. It's very technically difficult to do and a little luck-based if you can get them all to leash. It seems to me 4 is basically the max. And then again, yeah, hope that answers your questions about Ellies. And look forward to the next episode in this tutorial series. Make sure to check it out. Bye-bye now. I'm trying to quit, not end the recording.